stream. If you're watching on YouTube, you can watch live at twitch.tv/GMBenjaminFinegold. I stream every day, almost always in the evening, Eastern time. I'm not going to be streaming Thursday through Sunday because I will be driving to or from Michigan, or I'll be in Michigan. Karen and I are both going to visit family. And my birthday's actually on Sunday, September 6th. Yeah. So I'll do a birthday stream either Wednesday or Monday, or neither or both, whichever's funnier. Yeah. So I didn't know what to do today. I want to do something a little different than I usually do. So we're going to look at games where I face the Dutch. So if you're ever going to play a match with Ginger GM, you got to study these games thoroughly. The Dutch has a bad reputation, but it's a reasonable opening. John Fedorowicz, for example, really hates the Dutch. He thinks the Dutch loses by force, and none of his students should play it, and he's actually angry about it. But the Dutch is okay. It's not very popular at the top level. Occasionally, Hikaru will play it if he's playing a much lower-rated player, or he needs to win. You know, like he's in a match situation and he's down a point or something. You know. Dolmatov, the Russian grandmaster who was a candidate, who I guess retired, he played the Dutch exclusively, in like the 80s and 90s. Malanyuk, another Russian grandmaster, I think he's Russian. He might not be. He might be from another Eastern European country. He also played he wasn't as good as Dolmatov, so he doesn't get the credit. And like Bavanik would play the Dutch occasionally. And as I said, sometimes Hikaru plays it in like must-win situations, but he doesn't just play it regularly. He used to, though, but then he started playing other stuff. All right. Hey, everybody, and so forth. It's not my birthday. Why are you doing a birthday stream? We're not doing a birthday stream. Okay, so that answered that question. Let's see. Hello. All right, let me refresh. I think I'm missing. Hey, it's Spencer. Go Spencer. Yeah. Right, yeah, Ginger GM, as I already noted, likes to play the Dutch. Somebody showed up late to the stream. And so forth. Hey, Pietro. Man, it's late where you are. It's 3 a.m. Go, Pietro. Now, there's two openings that I hate. Openings that are intolerant of other openings, and the Dutch. Brownie with ice cream. That's an interesting handle. Never heard that before. Welcome to my stream for the first time. I guess you've never been here before. And you're sub. You must have subbed when it wasn't a stream. Yeah. Okay, so this is one of my favorite games. It was played in 1990 in Reykjavik. That was one of my favorite tournaments. Only time I was in Reykjavik. Brownie with ice cream subscribed. Hooray! See, already a sub and subbed again. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm playing Tukmakov in Reykjavik in 1990. And there's a sacrifice that I invented, so I play it a lot because I invented it. After bishop g5, which is one of the moves that I play, I also play g3, c4, knight c3, and knight f3. But that's it. Black has a lot of moves here. h6 is one of them. And everybody plays bishop h4 except me. I play bishop f4. Now, one thing you have to realize, if black tries to win a piece, white has two ways to not lose a piece. One is to move his e-pawn, threatening queen here, mate. So after like e3, black would prevent mate, and then white could go here, and he's defending f4. Or you could go here right away, and then you're threatening mate, and you're threatening to take this pawn. So you're not losing your bishop. A funny line, which the engine isn't mentioning, okay, now the engine's mentioning it, is h5. And the idea is you're stopping mate, and if you take, then here. Okay, and the engine says white's winning here, because even though black is probably going to win a piece, at what cost? Bishop d3, for example, threatens mate. Also, instead of taking on f4, I can play bishop d3 right away. And just as an aside, and this has happened, if black plays rook h6, then white has this really nice checkmate, which has happened before, but not very often. Okay, but I don't play bishop h4. I play bishop f4. Now, my bishop's never getting trapped because, and the idea is I didn't play bishop f4 on move 2 because I like that black played h6 because it really weakens the white squares. I'd rather have this position with white than this position. And after the obvious knight f6, I play e4. This is a sacrifice that I've played several times. The engine is not impressed, but I have good results, so I guess I'm impressed. I don't know. I've played it on stream also in some blitz games. So the main idea is if you take, I go here mate. And if you don't take, I can take or play e5. So everybody plays f takes e4. And then I play knight c3, and I'm threatening to take the pawn. You can't take back because of queen h5 mate. So here, black has several moves that are reasonable. My opponent played d5, and I faced that before. I've also faced e6, which is also good. Now you have to turn away, don't look, because I play f3. So I'm playing a gambit, but black obviously has a lot of terrible weaknesses here. And I've had this position several times. My opponent played bishop f5, which the engine thinks is good. I took. The engine likes this too. Bishop c4. I must admit, I don't like this for black. The engine likes it for black. Okay, and now my opponent made quite a bad mistake. He should just play e6 and get his bishop out and castle. And he has an extra pawn, but it's a doubled pawn, and he has weaknesses everywhere. Very interesting position. Let's see. Hello, everybody says hi. I played the Dutch. The Dutch is good because you could never play f6. That's correct. Have you been to Iceland? What? Okay. What? Okay, so he played g5, which is not a good move. And I don't remember looking at this with an engine. The engine says knight d5 and white's better. Wow. Knight d5. God damn. Wow. I never would consider that move in my life. The idea is once this knight is gone, here I come. So, for example, if this, then I'm winning because terrible. And then if you take the knight, I check, and I take this, and you can't take my bishop because this is hanging, and this is hanging, and your king's on d7. And the engine says this is equal. e6, bishop e5. All right, well, I didn't consider knight d5, I must admit. Okay, so I played bishop e5. Seems very reasonable. And this is the idea when I play bishop f4 instead of bishop h4 on move 3 is why is my bishop on h4? On f4, I have a lot of squares to go to. On h4, I'm sort of trapped on the side. Okay, he played knight bd7. The engine agrees. I played knight b5. The engine does not agree. It says my position is terrible. Okay. Takes. Well, the problem if he trades queens is when I take back, I'm threatening the knight, and I'm threatening knight c7 check. He played knight g4, which is forced. I played the best move, bishop e2. And the engine claims that black is better if he trades queens and then plays king f7, so I can't fork him here. And it prefers the black pieces in that position. It also says black's better after h5. Okay, my opponent played knight e5. The engine says black is still better here. Okay, I checked. And now he made the losing move. So the engine claims black's better here. Now it says equal. And that the other... So black has 3 legal moves. Knight f7, knight g6, and bishop g6. And one of them is fine for black, and the other 2 lose. He played one of the ones that loses. So let's let you guys in the chat figure it out. Which move would you play if you were black? Bishop g6, knight g6, or knight f7? You flip a coin. If you flip a coin, you're forfeited. f7, king f7. Most moves suggested are illegal. All right, you got to ask the poker player, because you chess players don't know. Yeah, some of you were right, but most of you weren't. Okay, bishop g6 is forced, and then the engine line is to either take or play queen e2, queen h5, rook g8 or king f7. It likes rook g8 now. And it says black is slightly better. Black's up 2 pawns, but black's position looks pretty silly. So, I don't know. I don't see why black's better, but all right. Anyway, he blundered. He played knight f7. And now he's actually in trouble. I played knight e2. I want to get a rook on the f-file. I want to play knight d4 or knight g3. Yeah, now it says he's basically losing because rook f1 or castles is too strong. He played e6, and I played an excellent move here, g4. So I get rid of his bishop on the file. Now this is funny. If I castle, he plays bishop c5 check, and then he castles. So that's why I played rook f1. Now you can't play bishop c5 check. Yeah. And he played the best move, bishop g8. That's the Soviet school of chess. I played the only good move, knight e d4, threatening this. And the engine says I'm +2 here. And I'm down 2 pawns, so I must have good compensation. The engine plays a6 and says after knight e6, I'm about +2. And he played a move that you won't find in a lot of instructional information on how to play good chess. This is a, let's see, I can't think of the word. What's the word when you have your own ideas? I guess I don't have my own ideas. I can't think of the word. You have something. You have it. What is it? Original. Yeah, unique, original. Originals, yeah. Yeah, this is an original idea. He doesn't want me to take this. And he can't defend it with the queen, because if he defends it with the queen, I take it anyway. And he can't take my knight because my other knight goes to c7 with a family fork. So queen here, I take it anyway. It doesn't, the knights defend each other. This is actually funny. If he takes either knight, I take with the other knight and fork his king, queen, and rook. So he defended it another way. Very original. Yeah, extra crispy. Original is not the word I'm thinking of either. What is the word I'm thinking of? I don't know. It's not talent. Creative. Yeah, creative. Thank you, Nuke. Yeah, this is a very creative move. Okay, if your opponent plays it, he's either a grandmaster or he's no good. In this case, he was both. King e7. God damn. So it defends the pawn, and it gets out of the pin. Hooray. Yeah. Soviet School of Chess. Yeah, creative. Yeah. Yeah, so now this was played in Reykjavik in 1990 in a very strong open tournament. And when the game ended, we analyzed the game. And a lot of the other Soviet players were there who were about the same strength as him, or maybe in some cases better. Maybe. Probably not much better. And they were trying to find improvements for me, and that was making him angry because I won very easily. So why are they improving for me? Like, improve for him. Now, the engine doesn't like the way I played this game from this point on. It says I'm plus 7.5 if I go there. And then after takes, just queen e2. And it just says it's over. I'm going to play queen here and total destruction everywhere. Yeah, it says plus 8 for white. Okay, I didn't do that. I played queen e2 right away, and this let him play knight d6. Now, if he has a bishop here and my rook is here, I can double on the f-file. This pawn's indefensible, and this knight's really good and gets rid of one of my attacking pieces. So I'm still completely winning, but this is like more winning. Okay, then I mean, I'm plus 4. So, okay, I castled. He played king d7, which is the engine move. Okay. It doesn't like knight takes knight, but it says it's still winning. Bishop takes, queen takes e4, king c8, knight b5. It says I'm always winning. Rook h7 is actually the only good move. He played rook h7. Yeah. I played the best move, I think. Rook to d3, because I can double rooks on either file or play rook c3. And now I'm threatening rook to f8. So that's the best move. And bishop f7 is a really good move, because if he trades everything, then he can't defend b7. And if he plays bishop takes, I can take his rook. Although I guess taking this might be even better. Yeah. Okay, so he says I'm plus 5.3 here. He played rook c8, so he can pretend to castle. This move is fine, threatening his rook. Also threatening queen check and queen takes rook and his rook. So he takes and I take. And I'm up the exchange for nothing. Now, in this position, this is actually quite funny. Okay, so we're in some time trouble here. It's like 40 moves in 2 hours, and this is move 31 for me. So we probably both had like 5 minutes on our clock. And in this position, I knew that I was winning. I just had to be safe. And I was like, well, I don't want to allow check. So I played queen d3, totally overlooking that my pawn was attacked. I mean, I didn't see my pawn was attacked. The engine doesn't care about that check. It just takes this pawn, and his pawns are weak. Yeah. But it says I'm plus 4.8. It doesn't spoil anything. I was just playing safe. Okay, and he took. I'm just making my king safe because I don't really care about that pawn. And I'm threatening queen c7 check. Well, okay, he's defending b7. So. Yeah, and I remember I made the time control with like 5 seconds left. And then this was actually the last move of the time control was rook f8. So that was a fun last move with the time control because now I get like an extra hour. And it's mate. He can't stop queen b8 mate. So he resigned. So that was funny. His king went to e7, d7, his king did the song about the sweet loving woman. Yeah. Yeah, and when the game ended, we analyzed it. He was getting madder and madder at his comrades because they were like, why didn't white go here and why didn't white go here? And he was like, dude, you got to find moves to help my position. But actually, there was no hope for his position after knight f7. Knight f7 was a really bad move. So his position's okay here, and then he has to play bishop g6. This loses and this loses. And here he's already in a lot of trouble because this is like a perpetual pin and rook f1 is coming. If he ever trades queens, I have an extra threat of knight c7 mate. God damn. Yeah, so this is, and the knight's coming here. So he just, it's just hopeless for him. So he was lost after knight f7. But I mean, this was in 1990, and it was April, I believe. Yeah. So I was 20 years old. So I was a very aggressive, calculated a lot, very confident, sort of like the opposite of now. And Tukmakov was always old. Even when Tukmakov was 20, he was old. And Tukmakov, I think now he was coaching Fabi, and he was coaching some other super GM. Like he took turns, he did one then the other. I'm not sure the other super GM was. Maybe I made that up. Let's see, Belyavsky was coaching MVL. Huh. Now, what's funny is I've played Tukmakov. This game was played in Iceland. I've also played Tukmakov in the Netherlands and in Canada. In fact, I played him in the Netherlands twice. So he crushed me in one of our Netherlands games, and I drew the other one. I can't remember the game he crushed me, but I know he did. And he crushed me in Canada. And actually, in Canada, when I say he crushed me, it was equal, like I moved 25, and then I made a horrible move, and I got run over completely. Yeah. So this is the only game I've beaten Tukmakov, but it was our only Dutch. So, yeah. Now, it was funny, when the game ended and we were analyzing it, the other Russian grandmasters were analyzing, when we were done, they said you have to pay for the services because they were analyzing. And I was like, what? They said, well, we're giving you chess lesson. You have to pay us. And Tukmakov was like, all right, we'll split it. And I said, we'll split it. Why are we splitting it? And he said, we're going to go Dutch. Why did not you go rook f8 still? What? No, we're not on Chess TV. That's Tuesdays and Saturdays. What? What's my favorite Coen Brothers movie? That's already been asked. $200 centidues from Grungeward. Hello. Yeah. So a long time ago, probably 1989, I was in the Netherlands and I saw one of the Karate Kid movies in the theater. I think it was 2, but I don't know. Pretty sure it was 2. Anyway, at one point, the main character, I don't know who that is anymore. He and his woman went out to eat, or he asked her out, and they agreed that they would go Dutch, and everybody in the theater laughed because we were in the Netherlands. So that's a true story. I talked to a Dutch guy about that, and he was like, "We don't use that term, so nobody would laugh at that." So, Chestnut Bombs is gifting a sub. Hooray! Yeah. Yeah, they did laugh. I was there. Yeah. 100 centidues. Another train. Curious chimpanzee. Now, if anybody wants to donate $500 today, that's acceptable. If you'd like to. Yeah. Go train. Okay, let's look at the next game. The next game was played in Cap-Lagrand in 1991 against Ilse Ruben. She's a 23-30 player from, what country is that? That's Latvia. Okay. So she's 62 years old now. That was in 1991. So I don't know what that means. She was 30. I don't know. How many years ago is that? 29 years ago. So she was 33, I guess. I don't know. All right. Something. I don't think I've ever seen her before or since this event. So she's a WIM from Latvia. Okay. Now, one thing that differentiates me from other grandmasters, other than they play well and I don't, is most grandmasters have a very strict opening repertoire that they know very well. And if you play them, you have a pretty good idea what they're going to play. And I don't do any of that. I just play everything because I don't want my opponent to prepare for me, and I want to just play, and I want to get out of theory, and you know. And I was always like that. Okay, 10,000. If I had $1 million, probably I would do that. If I had $1 billion, I would donate $1 million. What? If any of you had $1 billion, you wouldn't be you. You'd be somebody else. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Prepare every opening. Okay. Good spelling of Fisher. FSI. Damn. Let's see. What's happening here? What? Yeah. Grunge War gave 5 subs. Go Grunge War. You're the Grunge Wardiest. Yeah, except for one thing. Exactly. Okay. So this was played in Capelle, and I was white. And I played Bishop G5 again, but she played C6. Now, my recollection of this game is the engine doesn't like it. However, probably in the 29 years since I've played this game, I looked at it once with the engine. It might have been a year ago. It might have been 20 years ago. I don't know. Okay, I played Knight C3, developing a piece. D5. E3. Bishop E6 is a weird move. Okay, and again, this is a long time ago. So I played sort of wild and reckless. They compared me to the Israeli grandmaster Gad Reckless. And they told me that I should start streaming, but streaming didn't exist then, so that's why I wasn't recful. Yeah, joke's complicated around here. Wiki said she died in 2002. This person? Man, the truth hurts. She died 18 years ago? Because she would be 62 today. That's pretty young to die. Man. Nobody knows who Gad Reckless is? That's correct. All right, let me have a look at this. Let's see. Died in 2002 in a car accident. Wow. She won the Latvian Championship for women in 76 and 95, 19 years apart. She played for Latvia in 92 in the European Team Championship. She played in the Olympiad, and she shared victory in the Sweden Ladies International. She lived in Sweden from 92 to 2002. Gotta live somewhere. So she died in a car accident at the age of 44. I did not know that. Man, truth hurts. All right, well, what are you going to do? All right. Play theory, 45 moves long. Yeah. Latvia's lovely. Peter went to Latvia. Let's see. Chess on a board. Yeah, I don't like the move bishop e6. I agree. Okay, so I played g4, a move I would never even consider today. So I don't know, I'm crazy like Fox News. She took, and I played h3. And I guess if she takes, I'll take with the knight and play knight f4. I guess. The engine says I'm slightly better here. So maybe I wasn't as dumb as everybody said I was. Okay, she played g3, which I took. I mean, this is obviously very similar to the Pretzel Gambit, named after Neumann von Pretzel. Now, the last two things I said, you guys think there's a 0% chance that I didn't make that up, but I did not make that up. That's a true statement. In the Dutch, if you play an early g4 h3, it is the Pretzel Gambit named after Neumann von Pretzel. I'm not even kidding. You guys can look that up while I have some Perrier. The fact that I didn't make that up is unbelievable. Also, the hype train needs some subs. Can somebody give 5 subs? You got less than a minute. Yeah. Yeah, Neumann von Pretzel. God damn. LJ Ganzi. Yay, 5 subs. Good job. Yeah. Yeah, you can't make up Neumann von Pretzel. Neumann von Pretzel. Pretzel Gambit chess. Let's see if that works. Oh, yeah, the Pretzel Gambit. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. List of gambits in Wikipedia. That's right. It's hard to find a lot about Neumann von Pretzel. Pretzel Gambit. Yeah. Anyway, that's the greatest opening that ever happened. It's Karen. Go Karen. Dan for Days gave a sub. Hooray! LJ Ganzi saved us. Chess with Ovi says hello. Go Ovi. Yeah. You thought this chat was for followers only? Maybe thinking's not your strong suit. Yeah, Patty Hearst actually was one of the first practitioners of the Pretzel Gambit, because in the Pretzel Gambit, you get tied up. Still theory is correct. That is correct. There's a Family Guy where, Stewie kidnaps this kid and he's tied up and Stewie's torturing him. And Lois comes down and says, "What's happening here?" And he says, "We're playing house." And she says, "That boy's tied up." And he says, "Roman Polanski's house." And so forth. And so forth. Let's see. What are people saying? What? And your children's children. Okay, back to the game. Knight gf6, knight f3. Jeez. It's funny how the pawn structure is somewhat symmetrical. I played bishop f4. I guess I wanted to go here. I don't know. Yeah, I remember being really proud of myself during the game for, what's the word that I couldn't use and I can't remember it now? Not original, the other one. I already forgot what it was. Extra crispy. Colmonosaurus gifted a sub. Hooray. Creative. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Now, what's funny is the engine says this is the best move. It's funny, like, I used to be a good player, and now I'm not a good player, but I used to be a good player. I played really original, creative moves that nobody would think of, and today's engines say they're the best. I would never play this move now unless I was playing like a 1-minute game. In a slow game, I would never play it. Yeah. Anyway, the answer is B4. That's actually the engine move. I was like, well, she won't castle kingside with my knight here. So if she castles that way, I'm, whatever. Okay, she played queen g8, d8, setting up for the next game. I castled. She put it in h. b5. The engine says I should play queen g4. e5. Confusing the audience. Okay, I took on c6. I took on e5. I played rook b7, and the engine says I'm winning. Yeah, she opened the center with e5 with, I've castled and she didn't. I mean, that's an accident waiting to happen. Man, I feel bad for her, but, when she left the tournament and she was very sad, I said, it's okay, Ilsa. We always had Capel. Man, even I barely get my own jokes. God damn. Well, I did get that one. Yeah, most of you aren't going to get that one. If you want to get that joke, you have to know a lot about the movie Capablanca. That's right. LJ Gonzi got it. Yeah. There you go. How does Paris fit in there? Paris and Capel are in the same country, and they're both in France. Yeah. Yay, go train or whatever. Okay, so now the engine says I'm +5 because I got this nice rook. Now what's funny is, when I was in my teens and 20s, I was a creative player. I played interesting chess, which wasn't necessarily correct, but when it was correct, that was pretty good. It was creative and it was correct, and I would roll over my opponents because I calculated pretty well. When it was incorrect, well, then it was incorrect. And what's funny about that is when somebody plays the Dutch, like Ginger GM, they're trying to do that to you. They're trying to get a creative, unusual position, Nakamura style. But that's the way I like to play when I was 20, so that was fine with me. Okay, she played queen f6, defending her bishop. And the engine says I should play this knight to e4. Oh, now it says they both win. I played knight e4. It's +8, so it must be a good move. The idea is I want my knights on e4. So I got 2 knights, 1 for each of you. It's very hard to protect your bishop, and so forth. Yeah, so, yeah. Now, what she should have done is castled, because that's the funniest move. But I guess she didn't have a good sense of humor. She played this move, which is the engine move. Bishop g5 is the engine move, but my move also wins. It doesn't matter which way she takes, it says I'm winning. Here's a funny variation for you guys at home. Queen takes, knight d6, queen takes, bishop g6, check, threatening her queen, and if queen takes, then mate. That's for you guys at home. Okay, so she flicked with the bishop, which is fine. I played bishop c4, which is winning. The engine prefers queen f3, threatening queen f8 mate. Although, to be perfectly frank, I don't know what I would do against castles. Oh, it says if I go here, then she resigns. Okay, that does look pretty good, actually. Okay, so I played bishop c4. Obviously, if she takes my bishop, queen d7 is mate. She played rook d8, which is forced. Rook f8 check is the engine move, but I played here, which is not even winning anymore. It's like better for white. So I have a rook for 2 bishops, but I have 2 extra pawns, and her king is no good. So the engine says like I'm plus 1.5 here. So queen takes rook was a really stupid move. Too creative. Now it says I'm doing better. All these moves are the best move for white. And then she resigned on +8. She didn't play well from that position where I was plus 1.5. So yeah, in this position, I'm barely winning if I'm winning, and she made like all bad moves. Probably in time trouble. This is a bad move. King c7 is okay. Bishop c4 is a bad move. Bishop e2 is a bad move. c5 is a terrible move. And then okay, so she just lost everything. Yeah, that position was too difficult. Yeah. I mean, all these mistakes she made, that was probably the worst accident of her life. Okay, so what did I do wrong at the end? I should have played rook f8 check instead of taking the rook. Then takes. Then she has to play queen e8. I'm sure that I saw this, but then I didn't know what to do. And the engine says just move my queen somewhere because I'm threatening queen a3 check, which would be mate eventually. This is funny. Bishop takes c4. Queen a3 is not mate because her king can run away. And even though I'm down a piece here, it says she's completely lost because my pieces are all good. 1,000 centidues from Nicola. Hooray. Now, Kara might not have been here when we had this discussion. Somebody looked up my opponent on the internet and she died in a car accident in 2002. Damn, that was a long time ago. And this game was in 1991, I think. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, 1991 in Capel. Okay, my next game is against a 2300 player from Indiana, and we played in Michigan at the Michigan Open. And his name is Michael Wiseman. And this game was played in 1992, as was the next game. Yeah. Now, even though Primo Genitor is making a joke, in Michigan, where I'm from, I didn't lose a lot of games after my rating got over like 2,400. However, in games that I did lose, it was very likely my opponent would die. So I lost to a guy who was elderly, and he was maybe like 2,100. And I had mate in 3. I had mate in 7, but I thought I had mate in 3 because I can't see that kings can move. I ended up losing that game. And then the guy died about a year later. Then there's an IM named Osman Palos, and we played twice, and he beat me both games. One game, he just crushed me. The other game, I was better or winning, and I lost on time. And then he died about a year later. So it was common for people that beat me to die. Yeah, so it did happen. I didn't realize this person died. Yeah. You're from Ohio? I'm sorry you're from Ohio. Man, harsh. Man. We're still mad at you guys about the Toledo Strip. Now, at the time that I was a history major, before most of you were born, I took a class called Michigan History because I went to Wayne State University in Detroit and from Michigan and so forth. And before the class would start, the teacher would write something on the chalkboard that was on a test as a question and answer. And there were, like that he had witnessed or other teachers had told him from their classes. So one of them, which isn't related to what I'm going to tell you, but just as an aside, was the guy wrote, Abraham Lincoln was born in a log cabin he built with his own 2 hands. That's what a guy wrote on the test. Okay, anyway, about the guy from Ohio, there's something called the Toledo Strip, and that's an area of land in Michigan and Ohio fought for it. I mean, not physically fighting, although maybe. But the Congress had to decide who owned that land, and Congress ruled in favor of Ohio because at the time, Ohio was the state and Michigan was not, so they got preferential treatment. And as a consequence, for reasons that I don't understand, because it doesn't make any sense to me, a lot of what is today the Upper Peninsula was Canada, and the U.S. just took it. and said, okay, that's you get that. All right. It sounds like Ohio lost out on that deal. They got Toledo. Okay, but anyway, the point of the story is, on one of the tests, the question was, what's the Toledo strip? And obviously the kid in the class didn't know. So he wrote, that's a dance the Queen of England did before sending the troops off to war. Now, if I was the teacher, that kid's getting A++++. But I wasn't the teacher, so I'm guessing that didn't happen. It would have belonged to Wisconsin? Possibly. Probably not. Yeah. Go, whatever your name is. Thanks for watching me. Yeah, your name's too complicated. Yeah. That is kind of bizarre. That's right. Yeah, maybe they like the Mud Hens. I don't know. Now, speaking of the Mud Hens, the Tigers have won 5 games in a row. So if they didn't play today, they've still won 5 games in a row. So there you go. They're actually in the playoff hunt. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. There's the Maumee River there. So I think that's where Somerset Mom is from. Please be Somerset Mom. Please be Somerset Mom. All right. The UP had nothing. Rawr. All right. Look, if you want to hide from the mafia, I recommend the UP. Okay. You live in Grand Rapids? I gave a Simon lecture once at a town very far west of Grand Rapids, which is even possible. Let's see, not Wyoming. What's a town that's further west than Grand Rapids that's sort of near the water? Let's see. Grand Haven, no. I've heard of Grand Haven. If you named a city, I'll know. Damn. Spring something. Maybe I made it up. No, not Holland, not Muskegon, not South Haven. Malice, St. Joseph, no. Spring Lake. You got it, Plato. Spring Lake. Yeah, I gave a Simon lecture there once, and wait, I didn't give a Simon lecture. I gave a lecture and I played in a tournament. Yeah. Anyway, here's my game with Mike Wiseman from the Michigan Open from 1992. This guy's 2,300 something. This is the same as my Tukmakov game. Still my Tukmakov game. And here, Wiseman improved with E6. Better than Tukmakov's G5. It's funny, the move that I played here, I'm like, why the hell did I go there? Although I sort of figure out why I went there now. After D5, it says I'm slightly worse. I played A4. I guess I was worried about knight A5 and my bishop would be lost for his knight. All right. Yeah, the engine says this is just terrible for white. Frankly, terrible. So bishop C5 check is quite a bad move. It wants to play knight E5, and it says black is better. And after this, it says white is better. And it doesn't like that move at all. It wants to take on D5. And it really hates that move. That's the worst move ever played. And bishop E5 is not a great move either. It's okay. Actually, bishop E5 is fine. Bishop E5 is good. Knight G4 is terrible. Wow, bishop D4 is just winning. But I played here, which is also good. And the thing is, if you look at this game and the Tukmakov game, you can see that, you know, things are happening in the center, and it's super complicated, and there's calculation, and there's miscalculation. However, irrespective of that, and regardless, my king is safe, and his king's on E8. So that's one of the reasons I play this opening is, you know, my king's safe, and his isn't. Knight F5. Castles is correct. Takes is correct. Queen D5 is correct. I'm playing a lot of correct moves. Yeah, that pawn's pretty good. Queen takes C4 is correct. And this just says I'm winning. Material's equal, but that's a monster. That rook's no good. This pawn's a goner. My knight has good squares. And also Papa John's. C6 is correct. Knight e4 is okay. b5 is okay. Queen b3 is okay. Rook f7 is the best move. Yeah, and he's obviously just lost here because I have an extra pawn on f7. Now I want to sneak in here. Knight g3. I still want to sneak in here. Now, if Adam Sandler would do this and would win, what would he say? Let's see who's seen the movie Mr. Deeds. Hopefully none of you. What would Adam Sandler... Actually, it wasn't Adam Sandler. It's an Adam Sandler movie, but it was John Turturro. God damn. Yeah, what did John Turturro... Yeah, that's right. Very sneaky, sir? No, that's not the right line. Yeah. Yeah, no. No, wrong movie. No. Yeah, humorless is correct. Don't underestimate the sneaky. That's right. Don't underestimate sneaky, yeah. Okay, so he played bishop f6, which is the only move. Now if I go here, he can take my pawn. So I played h3. Now I'm threatening his queen because I'm not getting mated anymore. Yeah, now I got some initiative here. God damn. And then he resigned. If he doesn't resign, let's say he plays king f8. That's the only move I can see that's not resigning. Then this is good for white. Yeah. So that was another one of my wins in this line in the Dutch, although the engine really hates this line for white. But I do win all of my games, so I guess I shouldn't complain very much. Somehow I like these positions and my opponents don't. Yeah, his last chance, instead of king e7 double question mark, is queen c4, threatening my rook. And the engine says rook f2, and white should be winning. This is the engine analysis. Knight takes f6. Look at this. I mean, he should take with the pawn, but if he takes my rook, he can't take my knight because queen check wins his queen. And if he plays king d6, this wins his queen. That's pretty cool. Anyway, that's the best he could have done, but it still wasn't good enough, I guess. I mean, I know he was in horrible time trouble at this position when he played king e7. Frankly, horrible. Yeah, Papa John's is correct. Yeah, Zohan's another movie. You guys are, All right, in the Zohan movie, it features the world's worst actor. Who is that person? Let's see who gets it in the chat. No, worse than Adam Sandler. Worse. Technically, he's not an actor, but he has been in more than one movie. He's not an actor, but he's in movies. He's just not an actor. So you guys are naming actors. That's right. The tennis player. That is correct. And Joey Debs is correct. John McEnroe. God damn. How many takes did they do where they're just like, all right, whatever. Yeah, come on. You think after like 40 or 50 takes they could get something usable? Yeah. Anyway, watch Zohan again or any other movie that has John McEnroe, and then you'll be like, oh. Horrible. Now, you guys don't know this, but about, 15 years ago, I'm guessing, John McEnroe had a show on TV on like CNBC or something. It was like a hour show at night. And this isn't a joke. Sounds like a joke, but it's not. The ratings were 0. It wasn't good ratings. So they canceled that show after a few months. You remember that show? Yeah, the ratings were 0. Not good ratings. There's good ratings. There's not good ratings. Fly Half 2014 subscribe. Good. Yeah. John Macro's also in Mr. Deeds. Yeah. I guess they had to find actors that were worse than Adam Sandler, so they did a good job. Yeah. The rating was love, not 0. Very good. Yeah. The only show worse than the John McEnroe show was when Chevy Chase had a show. That was the only one. Yeah, McEnroe is the show. That is correct. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I liked Reign Over Me. I agree. Yeah. Why is everybody hating on McEnroe? I'm not hating on McEnroe. I'm just telling you he's the worst actor ever, and his show had the worst ratings ever. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm not hating on him. Yeah. John Macro was in 30 Rock hosting a game show. That sounds terrible. Yeah. Probably better in tennis. Yeah, probably. But John McEnroe's good at tennis, but based on movies that I've seen, Adam Sandler must be good at golf. So there you go. Yeah. Okay, back to whatever it is I was doing, which I don't remember anymore. Oh, this is a Benoni. I guess I won't show that game. Okay, now there's a player in Michigan named David Hahn, Hahn, and when I was a little kid, and he was a little older than me, my rating was 901. That was my first rating. I was 6. And he was probably like 8 or 9. And his rating was 699. And he became like high 2200s. And he's still probably 2200 now. And this was an absolutely crushing display by me in a line that he knew better than me. I don't even understand how I played well. I'm guessing the engine's going to tell me I suck. But when the game was played, it was pretty impressive. Then if we analyze it now, it's going to be less impressive. This was in 1993, 999. And this isn't just a normal Dutch. This is like if a super grandmaster was white, they might play this way because I didn't play my weird way. Yeah. Adam Sandler better than dude. Yeah, I'm coming to Michigan Thursday. Karen and I are coming to Michigan. Yeah. Bring an envelope of money. Yeah, don't spell McEnroe wrong. Yeah. Will there be in Leningrad? Oh, I don't know. How about Naus? Yes. So he tricked me with D6, and then he played the Leningrad Dutch. And I said, no. And then I was shooting. Okay. So we just played a regular Dutch. I was like, all right, whatever. Now you have to remember the theory that I know in main lines of openings, I mainly pasted together from sugar packets. I don't know nothing. I know that moves are probably theory, but I can't prove it. Okay, so I played D5 and he played E5. At the time, I knew that this was a possibility. And he took, I defended my pawn. He played knight there, attacking, his knight wants to go here. I attacked his bishop, and he played queen. The engine says this is equal. Then I played bishop f4. Okay, still equal. Then I played rook a d1. The engine likes all these moves. Knight g4 is the second engine move. Knight h5 is the first engine move. Okay? I mean, knight here, you want to play knight e5. That makes sense. Okay, now I played the first engine move. Hooray! Now you have to remember, I don't know any theory, and the engine says I'm playing okay, and that I'm slightly better, and it's not a big fan of this move. Now, according to this engine, the Stockfish 10, not sure why it's only 10, white only has one move here that gives him the advantage, and I ended up playing it. Let's see, can I do anything else? Stockfish 10. Lines 3, unlimited. All right, that's all I can do. Yeah. So here I played the best move. Hooray! Captures, captures, captures. That's a Gadmador who I've never heard of. So that's the wrong stream. How ID you cheat and take his pawn. This is the guy that we made a moderator? Come on, Karen. He's typing in all caps and it's all nonsense. Trying not to learn. Say no to drugs. Yeah. Okay, he did it. How old was I? This was 93, I said. I don't remember what year this was. 93, so I was it the Michigan Open? What tournament was it? It was the Michigan Open. My birthday's usually during the Michigan Open because the Michigan Open's Labor Day weekend and my birthday is September 6th. So I would have turned 34 or 24. I don't know. 24. So I would have turned 24 during the tournament or right after the tournament. Nobody knows. All right, so what's the best move for white? That's the move that I played. Anybody? Mr. Sabin is correct. Knight takes e6 is also good, but knight d5 is better. So the idea, the tactical, reason is if he takes, and I take this, and he takes this, then I win his queen. So I don't lose a piece. So the engine says he should play queen e8, and he did play queen e8. Okay? So that's good. And now I played another interesting move. The engine says it's probably the best move. Yeah, this is when I was a good player. I was 24 years old. So I used to play chess good. Play the number one engine move every move. I wasn't cheating with an engine because they didn't have engines, and this engine is now. So, if I was cheating with an engine, I would have played worse. As a 900? No, I was 900 when I was 6. I was like an IM during this game. I was stronger then than I was now. All right, what's the number one engine move? I played it. Hooray for Ben. My birthday is this Sunday coming up. That's correct. Does anybody know how old I'll be on my birthday? I don't remember because I was born a long time ago. I can't remember. Queen takes f5, and you're a mod? Damn. Idea slug is correct. 400 and I guess 9 centidues? I don't know. Xanth 13. Yeah, it was 409. That was the formula. Yeah. Thanks, Xanth. All right, so nobody's given the right answer, or I can't see the right answer. Okay, the right answer is queen a3. That stops him from attacking my queen. And then, my rook is here. And he still can't take on d5 for the same reason. Okay, queen, and it defends my b pawn, which was attacked. So queen a3 is the best move. He played the best move, knight e5. And I played the obvious move, which at the moment the engine doesn't say is the best. My pawn's attacked. I can't let him do that. So I could take this, or defend with the knight. But I played b3. And now he should play bishop c8 and save his bishop. But he played rook d7, which is not a good move. And once again, I played the engine move. I don't know why I'm playing engine moves. Yeah, this move is clearly the best move. And I guess I was good when I was 24. And then the truth hurt after that. Okay, I played bishop e3. Well, obviously, this pawn is attacked. And my knight has the f4 square. That's a nice square. And it makes his knight like shallow and pedantic also. Okay, now he blundered, although it says he's already like close to losing. He took with the bishop, strategically very bad, giving up the white squares. My knight can go to e6. d6 is weak. Papa John's. c5. 200 and some centidues from Hagel Bagel 69. Now, if Hagel Bagel's donating 218 centidues, where's Heidegger? Come on, man. Bertrand Russell, anybody? Okay, so now I, infiltrated here, knight e6. He saved his rook. I played one of the engine moves again, h3, stopping his knight from coming here. Bishop g5. Okay, I'm going to give a free sub if you can guess what move he played here. The first person in the chat to put the move, you only get one chance. So I'm going to look and see if you guessed before. Write down the move you think black played here. If you're right, you'll get a free sub. The reason I'm doing that is this move seems very strange to me. It's possible nobody will write the move. But I will give a free sub if somebody writes the move down. First person. See, I was right that the move isn't a move that you would think of, because I've looked at 70 moves in the chat and nobody got it yet. So I was right that the move is strange. Man, still nobody got it. God damn. Wow. Some people wrote illegal moves in the chat. Wow, I was really right about this. I've looked at over 200 answers and nobody has the right answer. I'm still scrolling. I haven't got to the end of the chat yet. I'm at the end of the chat. Nobody got it. Wow. Okay, I'm calling off the sub because now it's just writing moves nobody else wrote. So now it's just silly. Nobody in the chat got the move that he played. Now you're done now. Even if you have the right move now, I'm not giving it to you. Because then, every legal move was suggested. That's not fair. Also, nobody has it yet. Still nobody has it. Now, on the engine, this move is the best or the second best, the move that he played. Wow, that's amazing. The move that he played, the engine likes. That's correct. Sheringan and Drittman 3. But you're too late. Yeah. Yeah, he played Bishop H8. The engine says Bishop H8 is a fine move. So there you go. I just thought it was a weird move. Yeah. But you guys got it too late. Yeah. Well, he's 2200. He's not a GM. All right. I just thought it was a weird move to play. Bishop H8. Yeah. I'm not sure why he played Bishop. This game was played before I was born. I don't know. Okay, I play Queen A4, which the engine isn't a fan of. Rook F7. The engine really isn't a fan of that. Rook F7 is a blunder, and I made by far the best move. What move did I play? By far the best move. Malzeth gifted a sub because they got it right first. Yeah. Rook F7 is a blunder. He's losing anyway, but now he's more losing. That's right, Hobo Dog. F4 and his knight's trapped. Yeah, he got rid of his retreat square. 2 bishops, what else? Okay, he played h6, putting it in h. Bishop g5 is good, taking the knight's good. Bishop h4 is good. g5 is really bad. Yeah. King's side sort of disappeared there. Yeah, and then he resigned here. God damn. Yeah, now what's funny is, and if my brother's in the chat, or if Puzzle Pawn's in the chat, let's see who else. Maybe even Spencer, maybe. David Hahn is known as a very solid, never loses, draws more than he should. David Hahn draws 2400s and draws 1900s. He's just really solid. So his rating's 2200, but he's a very solid, doesn't lose very much. At this game, and ran over him. Because I was 24 and I was good. Yeah, here I'm plus 8.3, by the way. What was the clock at this point? This game was played in 1993. What? Kidding me? Yeah, that game he got run over pretty badly. That can happen in the Dutch. But yeah, my knight got to e6, so that was bad. Well, sacking the exchange makes my bishop good, and you're down the exchange. Once he played bishop takes here, he was losing. Yeah. He's the Geary of Michigan. Yeah. Nice guy, too. It says Leningrad mainline Warsaw variation. God damn. I think David is still around 2150. Yeah, I agree with that. He's always been 2 or 3 years older than me, but now I don't know. Maybe I'm older now. Yeah. Something. Yeah, and so forth. Mainly and so forth. All right, now in the U.S. Championship in Key West in 1994, this was an interesting year for me. So in 1993, I was awarded the Samford Fellowship. And that means I got money to play chess. So they just gave me money and I played chess. Okay, so in 94, I was winning every tournament. I tied for first in the US Open. I won a lot of other tournaments. And my rating was pretty high. And my mouth was actually dry at that time because it was 94. And when your mouth is getting dry, you're pretty high. So I was pretty high. And I got invited to the U.S. Championship for the first time ever, just based on my rating. And I was winning everything. I was winning every tournament. The U.S. Championship, I did not win. And the first round, I was crushing Larry Christensen, and I had forced checkmate. In mutual time trouble, I made several mistakes, and I lost. I've shown that game on the stream about a month or two ago. Round 2... I was much worse against Yasser. He blew it in time trouble. We got to a drawn ending, which I lost immediately. So I started out with 2 losses in games that I was doing pretty well in. Then in round 3, I beat Boris Crybaby Kryman, and the rest of the tournament I was just drawing and losing. Now Kryman was invited because he was the U.S. Junior Champion, and this game was played near the end of the tournament. It was a 13-round tournament. This game was played in either round 10, 11, or 12, I forgot, but near the end. And I wanted to beat somebody who was in the tournament because they got invited, not because they won the junior. And the only game that I won so far was against Kryman. Now, I drew a lot of good players, but I didn't beat anybody. I drew Golko, I drew Orlov, I drew DeFermian, I beat Kryman. I drew Kaidanov, but that was the last round after this game, so I hadn't drawn Kaidanov yet. Who else did I draw? Shabalov. And I lost to Yermolinsky. I lost to Benjamin. I lost to Alexander Ivanov. I lost to Sarawan. I lost to Christensen. Now, if you played tournaments in 1994, try to remember all of your results. See, good luck. Anyway, so I was like really, Dmitry, Now, this is not a well-known stat, but it's a true stat, unless it's changed in the last 5 years. It's possible in the last 5 years it's changed, but I don't think so. Dmitry Gurevich has lost more games in U.S. championships than anybody. So what that means is he's getting invited a lot, and he's not doing great, but he's getting invited a lot. And Dimitri's played in more than 20 U.S. championships, but he's never like come in the top 3 or 4. He's usually near the bottom because he barely gets invited. He's not like top 3 or 4 in the country, I mean, at his peak. I mean, now obviously he's older than me. He's actually, I guess he's 64 years old right now. So he's not playing super competitively now. His rating went down about 150 points. Okay. So I wanted to win this game because, I don't win any games. So I want to win one game. All right. So he played the Dutch because I'm the kind of guy you play the Dutch against because you want to win. I mean, if it's some boring opening and I draw and you're like, I drew Ben. Blah. Okay. So he wants to win, obviously. So he plays the Dutch. And we just played a main line. Just like normal, boring, Okay. And I decided to play knight h3. I didn't really know anything about it. I looked it up, but I wasn't. And the idea is if they play bishop d6 and you play bishop f4, you can take with the knight. And the other idea is, which I played all these ideas, you can play f3, e4 and attack the center. And sometimes your knight goes to f4 and to d3. Okay, now he didn't want to trade dark squared bishops because obviously this bishop's no good. So he played bishop e7. I defended my pawn. He put it in h, getting, away from this. Rook a d1. And he played a5. Okay, so a very unusual position, which looks quite bad for black. It was probably okay. I played c5. The engine likes c5. He played knight fd7. He wants to play over on the queen's side, and he also wants to play on the king's side with g5, so he's defending g5. I played knight a4, stopping this. Now, if Karen's watching, and she is, although she might be doing something else, like, putting Archer to bed, I don't know. This should be reminiscent of the French defense advanced variation with a3 that Spencer showed you. Okay, so for example, in the French, in this position, if white plays a3 to play b4, you can play c4, and then if knight bd2, you can play knight a5, and you're preventing this, so white can't play b4, so white just can't move anything. And then eventually you try to play bishop a4, knight b3, and Papa John's. So it's very similar kind of pawn structure, kind of idea there. He's playing here, and he wanted to move his b pawn because, okay. All right. So he played g5. Okay, very interesting move. I went back to c1, setting up for the next game. Bishop f6. F3 is good because I want to play knight f2. I want to play e4. And since all his pieces are here, I want to play e4 and open the center and punish him for, basically just making pawn moves. Okay, also of note, never play f3. Okay, don't forget that. That's important. Okay, no, knight c5 was just a typo. Yeah. Okay, and Hegel Bagel gave lots of sentences. Neil Bohr is taller than Wilt Chamberlain, and nobody talks about it. Niels Bohr is taller than Wilt Chamberlain? Well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, nobody who was alive, 100 years ago is taller than Wilt Chamberlain. What? It's possible. I mean, the guy is like Scandinavian or something, so I guess. Yeah. Man, that was a boring stat there, but not too boring. Okay, he played h6, putting it in h. e4. The engine says I'm doing great. It loves the way I'm playing. Knight a6. I played a3. Rook b8. The engine wants me to play e5 every move, although I'm not sure how I'm going to win if I block everything up, but all right. Queen c2, b5. Knight c3, b4, knight a4, b5 draw. Oh, he can't play b5. Takes. The engine still says white's better here. Rook fe1. So in this position, he wants to play bishop a6 attacking my rook, and then bishop c4, and then bishop b3. So I got to start stopping that. 200 centidues. What? Okay, and he played bishop a6. Always play bishop f1. Take. Now the engine says it's equal. It doesn't like my rook e1, bishop f1. Finally, I played e5 because the f-file's open. So if the f-file's closed, how am I supposed to win? Now I can win. I got this open line. This line's open. I have more space. I got Papa John's. Papa John's exist then? Probably not. Okay, bishop d8, always retreat, and then retweet. And I played knight b6, sacrificing a pawn. The engine doesn't like it, but I'm guessing the engine's wrong. That's my guess. Because we're at depth 21. I'm guessing at depth 31 it'll be like, all right, you got me. Okay, he traded. The engine agrees. He traded. The engine agrees. And he played knight b5. The engine agrees. The engine says this is equal. Terrible engine. How could this be equal? His king is no good. I played bishop b2. He played bishop b6. The engine agrees with all these moves. Okay, now this is the move I'm proudest of, and I make this move a lot. The engine's not proud of the move. It says the move's no good. Okay, so my pawn's attacked. I've sacrificed a pawn, but he's weak here. He's weak here. And his king is obviously very weak. You know, no protection. And I played the move queen d1, defending my pawn, but also my queen can start coming in over here, depending on where his queen goes. Okay, now he made the losing move according to the engine. The engine says after c5, black is better, even though I can play rook f6. I mean, the engine's just wrong. There's no way after c5, rook f6, black's better. No way. Ridiculous. I've never been so mad. Okay, so he played, well, he didn't like rook f6, so he played bishop to d8, which is not a good move. And now I played an excellent move, the best move in the position, a4. I'm getting rid of the, the attack here, and he doesn't really have a good square for his knight. Yeah. If he plays knight c7, his knight can't move anywhere. So he played knight a7. And I played bishop a3, threatening rook f8, bishop e7. And now I can enter on all these squares here, and his knight is shallow and pedantic. So I play queen g4, which is a good move. I want to play rook f6. If he plays rook f8, I trade rooks and play queen takes e6, and then it's Papa John's time. That's actually the best way for him to play. He played king g7. That way, if I play rook here, I'm not threatening this pawn, but he pins his g-pawn, so knight f4 is crushing. He's in time trouble, obviously. He played rook g6, and his flag fell, and he resigned. Obviously, knight f8 wins. Obviously, queen f5 wins. And, you got to be kidding there. Knight a7. So I won that game. In that tournament, I had 2 wins, 6 losses, and 5 draws. But I didn't come in last place. So that's good. Hooray. I think Alexander Ivanov and Boris Kryman got less points than me that tournament. Alexander Ivanov lost 5 games on time, which is a lot in one tournament. And that was when we had analog clocks. No increment, no delay. And when your flag was going up, you didn't know how much time you had. He was very bad in time trouble. He got in time trouble every game. Now, I remember in round 1, he lost to Boris Kryman. They were on move 23. They played 19 moves of theory and a dragon. They played 4 moves on their own. The engine said Ivanov was like +1, and he lost on time. How do you lose on time on move 23 when it's 40 moves in 2 hours? What? Drew subscribed. Hooray. Yay. Yeah, you were crushing, Dimitri. I remember that. Yeah. I think he had 2 pieces for a rook. Yeah. Did you ban trying not to learn? What? All right. Time to ban trying not to learn. Oh, you're going out for food. Oh, okay. Yeah. Papa John's founded in 1984. That is correct. All right. Go Hagel Bagel. Go Drew. Time for another train. Anyway, I don't know if he resigned or lost on time here, but I think it was both. I think he played Rook G6, hit the clock, and just put his hand out and said, never mind. Yeah. 500 centidues. Hooray. 10 emotes shared, even better. I guess there's no train because we got, something, 200 centidues from Hagel and Drew. You hate digital clocks. Does that make you old? Yes. Yes, it does. Yeah. 201 centidues. Hooray. 200 centidues from Grungewart. The more you donate, the more eventually a train will happen. That was my first U.S. championship in Key West. I remember playing tennis several times. Walter Brown was very good. And when I played Shabalov once, we were finished. And I remember Shabalov walking back to his room, like very dejected. I mean, he won, but he was way too tired. And he went in and just like lay down in his bed. Like he looked like he was dead. And Shabalov at that tournament, he bought a car in Pittsburgh and he drove it to Key West for the tournament. He just bought a car and drove it. And then I wanted to go into downtown and he just said, okay, here's my car. So I drove his car. So that was nice of him. Those are the things you remember in tournaments, guys giving you their car. Yeah. Yeah, that was a nice event. Golko won the tournament. My next U.S. championship was in 1999, and Golko won that one also. In the other U.S. championships, Golko didn't do well, just the ones that I went to. Then he did great. Also, etc. Yeah. Old analog clocks. Yeah. All right, last but not least is a game that I played in the U.S. Chess League before it was the Pro Chess League. And we won the U.S. Chess League and we won the Pro Chess League, the St. Louis Chess Club. So twice we won. This was against Kozianu from Seattle. I think I'm 3-0 against him in the U.S. Chess League. This was in 2012. So the Pro Chess League's been around for about 4 years. The U.S. Chess League was for about 6 years. Something like that. I'm probably a year off, but you get the idea. And this is when I played for St. Louis. And I played a line that I had seen other American GMs played, but I hadn't played it before. You basically just ignore F5 and pretend you're playing the Torre attack with knight F3, bishop G5, knight D2, E3, Papa John's, which you don't really see at the top level, but why not? So that's what I did. I just played, like this. I played C4 because, why not? So, you have a stone wall, but your bishop is outside of the pawn chain here. And you didn't play G3, you played E3, you just played bishop G5 first. So white should be better here. He tried to do the Ullmann rigmarole. Okay, I didn't want to trade queens, which I usually do want to do, so I played here. Bishop E8, and I played B4. Rawr, mad. Taking is very dangerous. Obviously, queen takes, I could win my pawn back. Bishop takes also looks quite bad. Yeah, the engine doesn't like any of that. He played there. Takes. This is the idea behind bishop D3 and queen C2, is black wants to take this way, but he can't, because his F pawn's hanging, so he has to take that way. And then I put my bishop back on f4. And black's position doesn't make a lot of sense. Trading dark square bishops is strategically incorrect. And then I infiltrated. He played a very passive move, knight e8. Dum, chump, chump, chump. Dum, 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 chump, chump, chump. All right, so he got one of his pawns back, but I got a pass pawn over there, so. Yeah, and he's just completely crushed here. It was funny. I never realized, they had like the webcams then, and my opponent was putting eyeliner on, like right now. And I said, why is he putting on eyeliner? And they said, if you lived in Georgia, you would know. And I said, I do live in Georgia. And they said, oh, okay. He was crushed with eyeliner. That's why he's crushed. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I slept really well that night. I got a lot of rapid eye movement. A lot. I mean, I was really... Okay, he played knight df6. The engine says I'm +6. Rook c6. Let's see. Yeah, nobody got any of those jokes. Queen d8 here, and then he just resigned because his rook's trapped. So even after rook here, queen here, his rook can't escape. Plus I'm queening this. Superfluous knights. Yeah, it's funny. When I play Cozianu, who's like 2450 USCF, I guess, I always just beat him pretty easily in the US Chess League. I've never seen him in real life. Obviously, his name is Romanian, frankly. But he's lived in Seattle forever. Yeah. Nobody? No, nothing. Terrible chat, terrible, frankly. And then he resigned because it says I'm +7. That's a good reason to resign. So that game didn't work out very well for him. But that opening idea, which I learned from other American grandmasters, that worked out pretty well. My opponent never attacked me. I won on the queen side. I had a pretty easy win. 23 moves. So that was good. Yeah. What's the one REM album? I don't know. I like Night Swimming, but that's me. My moves are automatic, which is good for the people. Good. Yeah. Excellent joke. Not too good, but pretty good. Yeah. It's funny. There's a video on Twitter from about a year ago, not quite a year ago, that Nigel posted. He's singing, I think he's in China, and he was doing commentary maybe on the Women's World Championship. I think that's right. And he's playing the guitar, and he's singing an REM song. I thought that was funny because Nigel lives near Athens, and REM is from Athens. So I just thought that was funny. I wonder if anybody else thought about that. Hagel Bagel giving me the rest of his money. That's right. Yeah. Well, it's not equal because I got a passed pawn and the rook is trapped. So when this pawn's hanging, I mean, equal, what? I have an extra material. I'm winning more material, and his pieces are all Papa John's. What? No, this is terrible. Yeah. It's got to be automatic for the people. I agree. Yeah. I mean, I've only lived in Georgia for a few years, so I could be wrong. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny that REM, they weren't getting a lot of money when they started out. And they told the lead singer, we don't have a lot of money if you want to play here. And he said, that's okay, I just want a stipend. Valikoth 90 subscribed. Retweet, repeat, retweet. That is correct. The more you sub, the more subs I have. Yeah. What topping with Papa John's? Well, it has to have no cheese and then pineapple, and I'm good. But no cheese. They don't have vegan cheese there. Terrible. Yeah. I remember this, Kramnik always saying that he's winning. Dmitry Gurevich and Shabalov, they always had a back and forth. And, they're friends. And in Chicago once, I was analyzing with one of them, and the other one showed up. I think I was analyzing with Dmitry and Shabalov walked up. And I said, Shabalov, who's better here? And Shabalov said, what does he think? Because whatever Dmitry thought, he thought the other side was better. He wanted to know first. He wanted to disagree. I disagree. Yeah. Well, because I live in, suburban Atlanta. So, yeah. So, REM. Yeah. Also, I stopped playing Puzzle Rush, as you may have noticed, but I do play Puzzle REM. So, yeah, and I told somebody that they were very giddy, but they should have been Getty. And I told Hikaru that joke, and he said, frankly, and I said, no, Gettily. And he said, oh. And, that's like 2 jokes. Yeah, exactly. And it's like the Dennis Miller ratio. Only 1 in a million people get that jokes. You've seen Rush 5 times? God damn. Frankly, terrible. I mean, Rush is a C+, I guess. Maybe. They're not as bad as they play. Yeah. Jet Li, terrible. Yeah. Young Cake from another. That's correct, Deshaun Kit Kat. I was getting cake from another GM. That's right. Yeah, that was at her home in Lubbock, Texas. Yeah, those were nice tournaments. Rocky. The first time I heard Rocky Raccoon was when these 2 drunk guys I was with were singing at Manhattan. They're pretty good too. Ooh, Impertinent. Very good. R.I.P. Yeah. Yeah, one time I was talking to the drummer, and I wanted to look at his drumsticks, and he wouldn't give them to me. And I said, give it to me, Neil. Give it to me, Neil. And he recorded that, and I got in trouble for that. Terrible. Man, the complicated Family Guy joke there. I wonder if any of you got that. Probably not. The Strokes are the best band ever. What are you, Mike Hummer? Is that Mike Hummer's secret account? God damn. Yeah, you should say in the chat that you like Phil Collins, and we'll see if Karen bans you. Oh, snap. Now, one of the traps that I've done in the Dutch before from different move orders is this one. Okay, now the actual normal trap move order, which I don't do, is you play the Staunton Gambit. Okay, and now D5 is a blunder because of Queen H5 check. Now, what's funny is I've played Knight C3 and then E4, and this is just the same blunder. And then I go here and I'm winning. Now, another similar blunder is in this position. I've had white in this position too. And normally I play E3 or I take, but I have played E4. I've done it. And one of my opponents did take with the F pawn, which is a known blunder. And it's a known blunder from this position. Here, 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 D5 question mark. This is the same position I just showed you with another move order. And now you take the knight. Oh, give me the knight. 2 knight. You check. And now it looks like, all right, you sacked a pawn, you won your pawn back, whatever. Okay, even though this is equal material, black is actually losing a pawn here. Okay, you're threatening this pawn twice. The only way to save the pawn is to play F5, but that loses the rook in the corner. And if you play queen takes queen, now there's a fork going on. So actually, no matter what you do in this position, you're losing a pawn. So white's a pawn up in this position, eventually. Yeah, so you got to watch out for queen h5 check in the Dutch. That's why f5 is a little tricky. Some of these gambits, you have to know them really well. You can't just be like, well, super grandmasters don't play those gambits, so I'll figure it out. I mean, you might figure it out, but I doubt it. So you got in all these tricky gambits. Okay, like after Queen D3 and then something, then this is the Neumann von Pretzel, the Pretzel gambit. Yeah. I think they play G3 here usually. I don't know. Or just don't play the Dutch. The Dutch is okay. Yeah. Miles Davis. What? I can see for miles and miles. Yeah, there's not all these super tricky lines in the Dutch, but there's some. It's not too many. Not super tricky. And I think I showed you that other tricky line. Yeah. And obviously there's the famous game between Edward Lasker and Thomas. I mean, I'm probably going to get the move order wrong, but that's okay. Yeah, it's important to get the move order wrong. I definitely got the move order wrong. That's for sure. Yeah. Does this replay Queen E7? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, this is right. This is by transposition, but that's okay. Yeah, and he played King D2 instead of castles. You got to be kidding me. How could you not castle? Come on. King D2 double question mark, and it's mate. Yeah. Now, obviously, I didn't play the right move order because I forgot the right move order. In fact, I think the right move order is this. I think he played knight BD2. I think this is the right move order. Not sure about it, but I think so. This might be the right move order. Yeah. Might not be. I'd have to look it up. It would take me seconds. Always retreat. Can't believe he played King D2. Man, after not... How could you not? Come on. Terrible. How often can you castle with mate in a slow game where you sack your queen? Come on. Yeah. Anyway, so you got to watch it when you play the Dutch because the guy could do that to you. Now you can set up for the next game. Your king is here. It's good. Yeah. More efficient? No. I was having a funny discussion with not David Hayter, Glenn Panner, one of those NTDs, like Robert Tanner, Glenn Panner, David Hayter, one of those guys. I'm thinking it was somebody else. It was some NTD, and they were telling me, like, if you play King C1 and take your hand off the piece, you're required to castle because you took your hand off the king. You can't change your mind and move your king somewhere else because you've taken your hand off of it. And so after King C1 and taking your hand off the piece, that's considered checkmate, which I don't agree with, because you're required to play Rook D1 because you've completed castling because you've taken your hand off your king, and so you have to complete the castling. You can't not complete the castling. Like, you can't change your mind. But I don't agree with that. The Liquid Courage subscribed. Very suspicious. Although, of course, if you're playing on the internet and you play King C1 and take your hand off, it plays Rook D1 for you. So, I mean, the guy has some point. Not much. That's right. Play King C1 and then leave, right, and see what happens. Yeah. Probably wouldn't work out well for you, but you never know. Yeah. Why you choose Perrier? It's right here in my hand. There's no other drink. What do you want me to do? I'm innocent. Yeah. I'm the innocentest. All right, that's all the Dutch games that I had. I have more Dutch games, but I don't think I won, so I have to throw them in the garbage or something. Or something. Yeah. One time I gave a simul and both my opponents played the Dutch, and so I gave them both jump ropes. Yeah, you guys aren't really paying attention to the Dutch or the games. You're just talking about nonsense. Boo, boo. Yeah. Sort of, yeah. Man, sounds like good ice cream anyway. Something like that. All right, thanks for donating and cheering and subbing and etc. and talking about crazy music in the chat. Yeah, and don't forget it. All right, it's time to raid somebody. I raid you. You raid me. Council of Rooks, 500 centidues. Now I'll never leave the stream. Yay. Let's get another train going. Another train. Also, we're 3 subs short of 1,700. Blue Cat Snickers, 100 centidues. Another train. We need 3 subs to get to 1,700. No. 200 centidues. Now the stream will never end because of train. Did you get your car washed correctly today? I did. Thank you. Man, after I got my car washed yesterday, then it rained and rained and rained. Man, it was really raining. But today it barely rained. Yeah. You learned so much? That doesn't sound like my stream, but thank you. Yeah, the Dutch isn't a bad opening. It's not a good opening, but it's not that bad. Ralph Wiggum, 100 centidues. Yeah, I must admit, most of the chess streamers that I follow are not streaming now. Actually, one of the ones that I follow is not streaming chess. Another one I follow is also not streaming chess. And the other 2 are streaming chess. This recommended channel, I should raid that person. Because they raided me before. I raid you, you raid me. I should raid GM and Lee. What happened? Drew gave 1,001 centidues. God damn. Jimbo Matthews gave 3 subs, which actually cost him more than 1,000 centidues, but doesn't sound as impressive, but it is. It's more impressive, just nobody knows that. 1,000 centidues is like, wow, and 3 subs, you're like, but 3 subs cost more. Also, Jimbo Matthews put us over 1,700 subs. That was the important thing. Now, if somebody donates 100 subs, then we'll have over 1,800. Even better. By the way, this is a true story. I was watching the basketball game today, and I don't know what happened. Milwaukee versus Miami. And one of the players, I actually don't remember which team. Thaddeus, thanks for the 5 subs. And thanks for all the other subs you gave. That's a lot of subs you've been given this week. Stan Van Gundy was the commentator. How can Stan Van Gundy be a commentator? Okay, so a guy took a 3. He got fouled. He missed. And Stan Van Gundy was furious. With great vengeance and furious anger. And then he proved his math isn't very good. He said, that's the worst thing you can do in basketball is foul somebody while they're taking a 3. He was really furious. He said, that guy's a 37% three-point shooter. Now he's going to shoot free throws and he's 78%. And he was furious. And I said, well, if that was the case every time and you're going to foul him and he's going to miss, then you should always foul him. If you know how to do math. But yeah, he was really mad. He was, oh my God, 78% from 37%. Anyway, that was funny. True Dad is correct. Stan Van Gundy said he couldn't do math, but he used to be a coach. So I don't know. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, who won, Miami or Milwaukee? I don't know who won. Anybody? Anyone? Miami won. No. Crummy Cheesecake, 100 centidues. Hooray. Thaddeus, 1973. 5 subs. Just a Box in a Cage, 200 centidues. Hooray. Stan Van Gundy's a good coach, except for one thing. Butler got 4. Yeah, Butler was playing pretty well. Milwaukee is a very strange team. They seem like they don't show up half the time. However, when they do show up, then they show up. Also, that reminds me a lot of the Clippers. The Clippers in Milwaukee, they're like, we're not going to play good tonight. Then if they're like, all right, we'll play well, then they play great. It's weird how they just can't show up every night. Yeah. One pick away. My name is Luca. He was bad at a lot of things. Yeah. So both of those guys are commentators now, right? Neither one's a coach. The Van Gundy brothers. Yeah, they're not good commentators either. Damn. Yeah, they're really not good at anything. I'm not sure how they have jobs. Damn. Yay, renewing your sub. Hooray. All right, we're at level 5. That's even better than level 9. Stan was a coach longer than Jeff. I think Jeff's a better coach than Stan, but they're both terrible. Most coaches are very bad. That's unfortunate. I think in most sports, most coaches are very bad. That looks right. 100 centidues. Dangerous Dave. Thank you. Celtics Raptors will be a good series. That might be a 7-game series. Yeah. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave is good. That's right. Although it's not MVG, it's MVL. So. What could go wrong? Also, R.I.P. John Thompson. If you didn't know, you probably know, but he died today at the age of 78 or 79. Nobody knows. He was born in 1941, so he could have been either one. I think he was 78, but he might have been 79. Yeah, he was a good coach. Yeah. Everybody's dying in 2020. The truth hurts. I became a GM at 40, as is well known. Any internet search will show you something. Yeah. 1,001 centidues. Crushing level 5. God damn, Drew. Good job. Hooray. You're lazy? Yeah. Why don't people just Google? They're lazy. What are you going to do? Bishop G5? What? I played knight F3 in this game. This is the game I just showed you. It didn't last very long. That's what he said. Then he resigned. I mean, I got this, I got this, I got this, and it says I'm +6 or 7. Google doesn't fulfill their need for human interaction. God damn. That is true. When I was Lord was my favorite opening. When I was a teenager, and before that, between the ages of like 9 and 19, when I was black, I played the French all the time. Like, it's all only opening I played with black. They could have played A3 on move 1. I still played the French. I could have had the white pieces. I still played the French. I could have been playing backgammon. I played the French. It didn't matter. I could have been watching a movie. I was playing the French. It was great. Then I was like, Yay, we got lots of subs today. 200 centidues. Can we get to level 6? Three-point has an EV of 1.1. That's not good math, KK Detroit. Try again. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, if you make one out of 3 3-pointers, you get 3 points. So, yeah, etc. Also, what? Oh, you're saying 1.11 for each 3-point that you take. Yeah, I agree with that. Also, what? Maybe fouling is worse then. Terrible. You made me gifted a sub. Thank you. Wait, that guy's math makes sense now. No. Who would have thunk it? But what if you foul Shaq, and Shaq misses every free throw, and Shaq misses every 3-pointer? Who's worse in 3-point shooting and free throw shooting combined? Shaq, Ben Wallace, or Wilt Chamberlain? Has Shaq, Ben Wallace, or Wilt Chamberlain ever made a 3-pointer in their careers? Ever? What? Andre Drummond. Damn, truth hurts. Yeah, he's not good either. Shaq made a 3-pointer in his life? Damn. Yeah, Wilt didn't have 3-pointers, right? But if they did have 3-pointers, Wilt wouldn't have made one, right? Ever. He might have dunked it from the 3-point line, but that's a different story. Yeah. I think lifetime, this will surprise a lot of you. I'm pretty sure lifetime Ben Wallace was a worse free throw shooter than Shaq. Pretty sure. Yeah. No, I've seen Cecil Fielder try to steal second once. Now Prince Fielder, I think he did steal a base occasionally. I don't think Cecil Fielder successfully ever stole a base. I don't think so. Wallace is the worst. Rawr. Yeah. Yeah, Wallace wasn't a good free throw shooter. God damn. Can't believe Ben Wallace is worse than Drummond. They tried. Cecil Fielder was big and Prince Fielder was big, but Cecil might have been bigger. Maybe. Man, crazy. Cecil was much slower than Prince. Yeah. Well, Ben Wallace was a great defensive player. Also, Ben Wallace played better when he had the afro than when he didn't. That he was going to play better then. So whenever he had the afro, I was like, yes. Wallace more air balls than Shaq. Charlie Murphy. Yeah. Cecil stole 4 bases in his career? Cecil Fielder? Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. All right, thanks for watching the stream. We went almost exactly 2 hours, but not quite. That's good enough. And now we're going to rate our favorite streamer. We even like him better than me, which isn't, that's not really saying much. Yeah. All right, see you guys tomorrow. I'll be on Chess TV tomorrow, so we'll actually get some viewers. 8 to 11 tomorrow. Bye.